Shalom, everybody. Hi, greetings from Jerusalem, Jane. I decided to go into my bomb shelter, but it's also my bedroom. So this beautiful flag is the last thing I see before I close my eyes and I go to sleep. And it's the very first thing I see when I wake up in the morning, and I'm saying, God bless Israel. Today, the home front command is having a massive drill here in Israel. They are testing new warning sirens, changes that has been done since we had the last bit of war, of fighting in the month of May, when Hamas fired more than 4,300 rockets into Israel. So in cities where the reaction time has been changed from when a rocket is being fired and the sirens going off until you have to find shelter, these cities are having a siren going off. And then also here in Jerusalem tonight between 6 and 7, sirens are going to go off. But the change is that because Jerusalem is so big, they have divided the city into sections, and each section is going to have a siren independently. So in case something happened in the future, which is what Israel is preparing for, actually Israel is also having a massive drill preparing for 2,000 rockets coming a day fired from Hezbollah in Lebanon. Israel is preparing for a multi-front war that we know is going to come one day. That's the reality of living here in the Jewish homeland. So tonight in Jerusalem, depending on what part of the city you are in, the sirens are going to go off in different time zones, and then you need to find shelter and find out, is your bomb shelter ready for the day when it's going to happen. Back in May, I was reporting non-stop for 11 days when we had all of these rockets flying into Israel, and we have all of this horrific lynching and stabbing and ramming and horrible attacks on the Jewish people. It was a very intense time, very intense time. I want to ask you something. Do you think I'm making a difference in what I do? Have I been making a difference in your life in the time that you have been following me? Maybe you're thinking, why is she asking that? Well, I have started hydrotherapy. It's therapy in a swimming pool. I have had 2 surgeries here on my right knee. I've had 1 surgery in my left knee, going all the way back to my early 20s with the first one. So all of these years later, my knees are really weak and they're painful, pulling up in my back. So I'm getting this treatment, and I have had 2 physiotherapists working on me. So one of them is a student, and she's using me as one of her cases in this report she is writing for her studies. So she had all of these questions. So she was asking, who are you? What are you doing here? And I said, well, I'm kind of like a blogger and a freelance journalist, trying to share the truth out of Israel. And she was like, that's really interesting. Do you think you make a difference? And I was like, wow, that's a really intense question. And I said, I really hope I am. And then she says, I'm sure you are, Jane, because there is so much coming against us. There's not a lot of people speaking for us. And, you know, I'm here, so I'm the foreigner, I'm the Gentile. There are many wonderful pro-Israel voices. They're all Jewish. This is their homeland. They have families here. I'm the only one being here alone as a single woman. My family is in other countries. So she's saying, but why are you doing this? And I was like, well, so I said, well, I grew up in Europe and I saw the horrible mainstream media being so anti-Israel. It was really heartbreaking. And then mostly I said to her, I believe in God. And she got this big smile on her face. I said, I believe in God. And when I believe in God and I open the Bible, Israel is what I'm reading about. So I said, when I believe in God and I love God, how can I not stand with his nation? How can I not stand with his people? I said, the covenant was made with your people, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Great history, you know, down through history. Think about how you used Queen Esther. Think about the story of Samson, King David, Solomon. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And I said, that's what I read when I open my Bible. It's your history. But yet the anti-Israel propaganda, the BDS, the lies, the lie of occupation, that makes everything a lie when I open my Bible, if the lie of occupation was truth. And she says, that's amazing, Jane. Thank you so much for what you're doing. Come here and now let's work on your knees. And I was just blessed. I mean, I have been here for so many years and I have had my fair share of trauma. Like I said, I came here with my busted knees, but I have had other surgeries, 2 surgeries. I broke my ankle. I was in a wheelchair in this house. I have been through a whole lot in the last 4 years where I have been living in this apartment. Some of you have been following me. I mean, you have known me since I was a child in Denmark. You know who I am. You know what I'm about. Other people have joined later on. So have I made a difference in your life? Do you know more about Israel because you listen to my voice, because you follow me, despite the facts that I have had many seasons or some seasons where I have not been able to be out and about as much as I would like because of these injuries. And right now, like I said, my knees are really painful, so I cannot be out and about the way that I really wanted to. So my situation is now that, as some of you know, I was talking about during the summer that my landlord wanted to sell and I needed to find housing, but we agreed for me to stay for the remaining of the year. So of course that comes to an end in 2 months. So one more time, I am searching for my new safe location here in Jerusalem, the place that I believe God has prepared for me for such a time as this, for me to stand in the gap, for me to continue to try and make a difference, to speak the truth, to comfort my people, to love the Jewish people, and for the rest of you to be that voice that you don't really hear anywhere else when it comes to Israel. So yes, again, I'm in a situation where I'm looking for housing, praying for housing. This morning I was down on my bed and I was saying, God, I have had a very, very difficult time living in this apartment with 2 surgeries and wheelchairs and crutches. And, you know, I was sitting here with a dear friend of mine. We were making videos together. Then he was murdered in a terror attack. So there's been a lot of tears and trauma in this apartment, you know, really painful memories. So I cannot emphasize enough, I desperately need to move out of this and enter the new year 2022 in a new apartment and close the door to all of this, where God also has brought a lot of healing, but start the new year in a new apartment. So once again, for those of you who know me, I don't have a salary. I don't have other people backing me up. I'm here alone with my voice and a little phone who has a cracked screen. Just trying to speak the truth out of Israel. So one more time, if I'm impacting your life, if I've been a blessing to you, would you be a blessing to me and send me a financial gift either on PayPal? There's a tax deductible donation platform in America, and then there's a GoFundMe page that was set up for me this summer that beautifully shares my testimony about who I am and what I'm doing here, what I have been doing, the price I have paid, the difficult things that I've been through, and now I really need to close the door to this apartment and to breathe. I am at a point where I feel like I can't even breathe here anymore. I need to breathe in a new home. So I'm gonna share the link to all of these donation platforms, and from the bottom of my heart, thank you for getting behind me and help me hopefully make a difference for thousands of people around the world. And I know you care, because I have so many people saying we love you, pray for you, Jane, and you are such an encouragement for me, and I could really need your help in order to get the money that I need and move into a new apartment. May God bless you so much. Thank you for being the hands lifting my hands, united for such a time as this. We are standing with Israel. Mwah. Much love from Jerusalem, Jane. Bye.